leave it to the professionals.
Blessed by Bundy, blah, blah, blah.
Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hopes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been goated when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her Era Lord. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock, and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the
Started off with a
blockchain.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hopes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like LeBron James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. The field's not falling for the FOMO. Listening to Coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum entities. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I gotta shout out
Started
the
off with a
boys.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hopes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Breaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in suits. Yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, miny, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. I had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. So I had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the ride with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
GM, welcome to Coffee with Captain. I'm Cap. Happy Friday, everyone. It is gonna be an interesting day. We've got Team USA kicking off tonight in their World Cup action. We got a big Coffee with Captain coming up here in a bit, and a little IPO that a few people are talking about today that might be sucking, I don't know, 1 to a few to maybe 20 plus billion out of the retail, in particular crypto market. So we'll get into it here in a bit, but I am kind of surprised that crypto and other risk on or further out on the risk curve assets are holding up so well, as this is very, very clearly one of the, if not the most anticipated IPOs of the decade, maybe ever at this point. But going to be an interesting day in the markets for sure. And one thing that I haven't seen a whole lot of people talk about is, most people that requested allocation, they're not getting full allocation. Like a group chat this morning with some friends, and one requested 1,000 shares, got 400 filled, and I think 40% from what I'm hearing seems to be on like the higher end. So the take, or at least the thought, is what doesn't get filled in these retail allocations, where does it go? Do they just buy SpaceX at open? Do they rotate back into other stocks, potentially crypto? But getting too serious here as we're still in quote open time of the day. But we'll jump into all that and more here in a bit. We also have Trump meme coin pumping randomly. 1.2 million in shorts liquidated. Go figure. But all that being said, happy Friday, GM to all the early GMers, Web3 Warhead, Helpful Soul, Block Mage, NFTs every day. We are live here on X Audio, X Video, Abstract, as well as YouTube. All those links are pinned up top. wherever you're at, hit the like, hit the follow, hit the subscribe, whatever makes the most sense. If you're on X, likes, the reposts, the bookmarks, any and all of the above are greatly appreciated, helping getting the space warmed up. It is a good, not Friday the 13th, Friday the 12th, actually. But I am looking forward to the weekend. Got a little trip planned and just a day trip tomorrow. I'm going to stay up past my bedtime to watch some soccer tonight. Actually, you know what? Let me do this. Let me give a shout out to all of our bracket battle participants, the Coffee with Captain World Cup bracket. We've got Sovereign Ape, and I wonder if I can. Let me see if I can pull it up on my computer, because I won't go into all the brackets, but I'll flash the winners, who each person picked to be the winner. And yeah, for some reason, it just doesn't look like you can even view it on desktop, which is odd. It appears to be it just appears to be like a mobile only thing for some reason. No idea why. But yeah, I can't. Maybe I can. I wonder if I can share there's no like link to share. Oh well. I'll read the entrants and who they picked to win, because a couple teams really stood out. So those, if you filled out the bracket and you don't have Spain or France and your team wins, you're probably winning the bracket based on how many people went Spain or France. Everyone went with the favorites, or not everyone. I chose France. Sovereign Ape has Spain. CD Nova has France. Eddie Crypto, Argentina. Eddie Crypto runs pretty pure. He called the BZ move into Solana and won a claw pull for that. Dort has Spain. Smoking Jay has Portugal. Thomas Iceman has CUW. I don't know who that is. World Cup team CUW. Curacao. Oh boy, you really went with the dog, if that's right. Yeah, Curacao. Wow. Well, if Curacao wins, Iceman's taking the thing home. I don't even know if I have them making it out of the group. I don't think I do. CM Lacey has Spain. Buck DeFi has Spain. I said I have France. Dwayne has Spain. JP Vamos has Spain. Zach Franklin has England. That might be. There's one other England pick, and they're like third or fourth, depending on what you're looking at. They're like third or fourth in the in the odds. So that's Zach's probably a favorite right now. Toasted Beats has Spain. RCET37 has Spain. Mike C has France. Scooter 26 has England. So there's the two England plays. Riss Brian has Spain. Jambert has France. Absolute Zero has Spain, and Phil Baca has France. If I can do it over knowing the picks, I would change my France call to England. I think they've got as good of a chance as anyone to win, and with only two people on them, that is the game theory. So build a World Cup combo, and then the hot topic on number one is 2 through 5 are soccer teams. Number 1 is SpaceX. I'm not sure which pitch they're playing on today, but US, their opener tonight at 9 p.m. As I said, staying up past my bedtime. Actually, favorites 47% to Paraguay at 24%, 30% likelihood of a draw. But let me get the futures on who is expected to win this thing. As always, Friday show, kind of a free-for-all variety show here today. If anything on your mind, if there's anything you're looking at today, in addition to or instead of the SpaceX launch, SpaceX IPO, let me know. I do have a few other things on the docket, but we'll do a little deep dive on both sides. I'm curious if you are a buyer today, if you're not a buyer and you're planning to trade it, if you're gonna go long or short. I did see there's like an $18 million long opened up on Hyperliquid. We got an overnight relief bounce for Bitcoin, reclaimed 63K after dipping down to almost 61 yesterday. But yeah, that like I said, I'm kind of surprised that the other assets are holding up as well as they are, with so much of a liquidity suck coming out of this thing. I'm looking for they changed the World Cup section of Polymarket. I'm guessing they're getting a ton of volume. There we go. World Cup winner. Took me a second. All right, here we go. This is what we're looking at for the winner of the entire tournament. Spain 17%, France 16%, Portugal 11%. So I think it was only one Portugal and there was two England. So maybe I take that back. If I could change my pick, I would go with Portugal and only be competing against one other. Pretty major volume on all these. The top three have over 40 million wagered. England has 34 million on them. Argentina 37, Brazil 36, Germany 39. Just a big ton of volume on this. Yesterday's not really an upset. I mean, Mexico won 2-0 like as expected, and then the Czechs won 2-1 over. Or no, sorry, they lost 2-1 to South Korea. I think many had South Korea to win. One conversation that's we're gonna do, as it's a Friday, so we got Coffee with Captain coming up. You got to remind me. I know we had a couple other people that got in the running earlier this week, but I did not write it down. So remind me what we talked about. You were a finalist. You were a finalist. You were a finalist. But I don't remember what it was and who those finalists were. So if you can remember, or if you were one of those finalists, let me know in the chat or come up and remind me, and we will we'll likely pick from one of you. But it's since I can't remember, it's still anyone's game. This is pretty awesome, Imlo. How did this happen? Our guy Imlo out in the chat, friend of the show, has his art all over New York City taxi cabs this week. What or the last 2 weeks? How did this happen? What's the tell us more. Very cool. Congratulations. It's awesome. Brickett all says did not play because didn't feel like KYC. You had to KYC for Underdog? I wonder if that's because of where you live. That's interesting. So it does ask for a KYC if you're going to bet in the sportsbook portion, but I didn't think for like best ball, I don't think it does. I didn't think games like this required KYC, but that's interesting. Yeah, nobody took Norway as a dark horse. GM Mikey, GM Brickett, Mork, Riss, Mel back number one and first in the chat. We got Dillo out there queuing up a coffee with Captain. Iman and Thomas, GM to all the early GMers. Appreciate y'all being here and appreciate you helping us get warmed up. Greatly appreciated. We got Hizzy out there. Thanks, Iman. Appreciate the sub. There's a few things going on too. I got someone else DMing about a game on Solana. I saw we had Concordium on the other week that they're certifying or taking the agent registry one step further and tying it to a human with that certified badge. And they just moved to Solana, so going where all the agents are. Hunter Biden officially announced he's considering 2028 campaign, but only as Gavin Newsom's VP. What a time to be alive. I'm excited for game 5 tomorrow. Spurs are going to win and pull off the second 3-1 comeback in NFL history. And what else? What else is going on this weekend beyond SpaceX IPO today? Beyond World Cup? What are we looking at? I am looking at. Feel really bad for my daughter. She's got a lot of dental work coming up. We got a checkup yesterday and was not great. So I need a dub to pay for a small car worth the dental work. The other conversation is what's next after Pokemon. This is what we were talking about in the Worm this morning. This will maybe lead into our coffee with Captain. Phonics started it with saying, where'd the post go now? Talking about One Piece and says the last OP slab I pulled 2 weeks ago sold for $600. Now it's worth $2K. So I don't know if I should keep or sell. OP Grails are going crazy lately. Yeah, Thomas says One Piece and Dragon Ball. Yeah, the other thing we haven't even mentioned here on the show, Helpful Soul, thanks for calling that. It was on my brain to talk about as we were talking sports. But what a week in sports, from World Cup to NBA Finals to NHL Stanley Cup Finals. If you're not following along, the Canes went up 3-2 on the Las Vegas Golden Knights last night. And yeah, fun, good week for sports fans. Have a good day at the In Real Life job. And Thomas also had the KYC for Underdog. Okay, interesting. I was not. I'm trying to think. I don't even know if I've KYC'd. I've done quite literally thousands of best ball drafts. I don't know if I've ever KYC'd on there. So it must be where you live type thing. GM NFTs every day. Reminds me that we had a couple of people, OG General, true OG in the space, rejoined the Board Up Yacht Club yesterday. And then Spino, who we had on a few weeks ago talking Panini NFTs, and the Panini whale, he picked up a pretty fire ape yesterday as well. So love to see it. And then in the news, I'll share Figgy's post here up top. They hired a couple of OG community members to join the team to do a few different specific roles. Director Creative, who has been a legend for quite some time, was recently hired, or Escaption is his X handle, was asked to join the Other Side team to work on AI development. So much potential for innovation. We want Other Side to be on the forefront of the narrative. And then Tropical Virtual also joined Other Side team as an official OKD, which is their SDK. ODK, the Other Side's version of the SDK, the development kit, Other Side development kit, ambassador. If you know Other Side, Tropical shows up for the ODK community, stoked to back him in an official capacity. Both start on Monday. So love to see it. Love to see the moves, bringing on not just community members, but community members that are already have been leading and very passionate around Other Side and the club and putting out good content. So that's pinned up top. Go give them some love and support and some congrats. And then back to the Pokemon topic. Yes, Steve says he thinks Pokemon still has some room to keep cooking. It doesn't seem to be slowing down. It has a lock on kids and adults. I know 40-year-olds and 9-year-olds who love it. And yeah, this is a big deal because it's got, the adults and they're collecting, they're speculating, their claw machines, their gotchas, has that market. And then, we were talking, not to tie it to like He-Man, but He-Man seemingly has missed the younger audience. So it taps into nostalgia and some adults who want to go see it and enjoy the movie, but seemingly failed to tap into the younger audience, which you're talking about collectibles. Like that's big for longevity. It's big for now in terms of buying, buy pressure, but you think about what keeps this thing going. Well, it's those 9-year-olds when they turn 29, you're talking about the Pokemon 50th anniversary, and they're going to be in a very similar mode to a lot of the 40-year-olds are today. So yeah, I think I do agree Pokemon has some room to run. So I'm not saying like sells off, but I think it's been running so hot for a while now. It seems to me it's inevitable that there's going to, and maybe rotation is the wrong word. Maybe people aren't dumping their Pokemon to go into something else, but it seems inevitable that there's one or more beta plays that people that feel like they miss Pokemon, or they don't want to, they want to go grail chasing, but they're not willing to drop 5-6 figures on a Pokemon grail. What's the beta? What's the beta play for the Pokemon trade? As I said, Thomas said One Piece and Dragon Ball Z. Joey and Phonics are calling out One Piece. I mean, $600 to $2K in a couple weeks is pretty wild. And most of what I'm seeing on the timeline related to this is Pokemon. Like Pokemon's gone crazy, and I haven't seen a whole lot of talk of younger generation learning to gamble on Pokemon. Yes, sir. Thomas also says his algo on YouTube is filled with Pokemon vendors live streaming the shows that they're at, helping kids collect Pokemon and One Piece. Maybe that's it. Maybe it is just One Piece and Dragon Ball Z. Maybe it's VFriends. Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon cards are very interesting right now. SpongeBob starting to pop off. That's interesting. I also saw for anyone going to Toy Story next week, make sure I've seen that there's going to be Disney. Is it Arcana? Larcana? What is the Lorcana? Disney Lorcana? Is that right? Correct me if I'm off here. Disney Lorcana. I don't even know what Lorcana means or is, but this is you get one. I don't know if it's a pack or it's a single card in a pack, but there is. Yeah, Zane says nothing like Pokemon, but some millennials with money are buying up. This is talking like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon cards. Thomas says was at Target looking for VFriends drop, and they were doing a restock of Pokemon, so bought his first Pokemon card there. Also didn't get any VFriends boxes. I struck out on the EQL's raffle as well, so I'm 0 for life on EQL raffles. I've been told that actually increases my odds for future ones, but time will tell. This is, though, the Disney Lorcana Wilds Unknown Buzz Lightyear iconic PSA 10. This post was the June 6th, so earlier this week. 3 sales from the same seller sold, each sale closing higher than last. $15,000. The prices have gone into orbit. The hottest newly released set across all TCGs right now, lifting other Lorcana sets as well, including Winterspell and Fabled. So Lorcana is the TCG, and then I guess they launch sets with different IP. Right now, the hot one is Toy Story, and this Buzz Lightyear being the chase item there. I know I sound really dialed into Disney Lorcana, but the whole point being the actionable takeaway here is if you're going to go see Toy Story next week, make sure you get your card or pack or whatever they're giving away. And you could, I mean, assuming the price holds, you could hit on a $15,000 packer. It might be worth going to see the movie for itself. Even the lowest listing of near mint is $4,400. So pretty could be a pretty good hit. Sealed prices update. The booster box is going for $165, has against the MRP of $143. The booster case is going for $764. That doesn't make any sense. I guess maybe it does make sense because there must be like guaranteed something, whatever the a grail or near grail is. You're maybe must be guaranteed one because it's selling the box $191 a box compared to you can buy a single box for $165. And the Lumineers Trove going for $60 with an against their MSRP of $49. It says, in my opinion, it'll be an opportunity with Lumineers Troves similar to Pokemon Elite Trainer Box. So they have usually outperformed booster boxes. You can buy them from Amazon here for $57.99 if you're looking for them. I have no idea about Disney Lorcana. I have no idea. I do know about Toy Story. And I'm not saying this is going to be the next. I'm not saying this is the beta trade. It's more so be sure to collect your free card or free pack if you're going to Toy Story 5 next week. Brickadol says, because of our interview with Dilly, signed up, so he now has Pokemon exposure. Congratulations. Welcome. Centauros. Become a creator, turn digital assets, physical art, collectibles, rare collectibles with verified on-chain ownership, transparent ownership, digital certificates of authenticity, digital storage, on-chain verification. So not exactly sure. First time seeing that, but appreciate you dropping in the chat. Sounds a lot like sounds similar to BZ. We're in that same realm. Riss added when he added his info to sign up, he already had his social number and info, didn't give it, already had it. Underdog probably partnered with or joined one of the already KYC. Yeah, I think so. The prediction market, I want to say, is crypto.com that they use. So maybe if you're already KYC for crypto.com, that's linked up. I'm not really sure. This was not some attempt to Trojan horse get y'all KYC for Underdog. I truly didn't realize it was requiring KYC for that, but fully understand if someone opted out because they didn't want KYC. I get it. Buckets. This was what we talked about briefly yesterday. Is from our guy Brad. Everything World Cup is free on the platform. Bet with an edge. Turn data into plus EV decisions. Sounds right up my alley. I'm going to pin it up top. I shared it yesterday. I've yet to do the deep dive, but I will. I'll add that to my list today if I can get to it. Let's. I really hate how they've make me go chasing. Maybe make me go hunting for what post I've liked. There, pinned up top. And Jesus, GM, see out there. It's been a minute since we chatted. I'm curious how you're liking OBX in the new setup. Aspiring Nobody, GM, Jambert, GM, Green Edge. Dan, good to see you. Diablito, good to see you. Buckets projected the score of 2-0, Mexico versus South Africa. So that one, nailed that one. GG's, that data proved to be accurate. Mesh, good to see you out there. GM. And yeah, before we get into all of the SpaceX talks, though, I am, again, curious how you're playing this today. I've shared previously and nothing has really changed. I am very long SpaceX. I think it's going to be great over the next decade or so. I don't know. I said I was going to stay on the sidelines. Part of me feels like I should trade this thing today. I just don't like. There's most of the historical hyped IPOs, even some of the best, even some of like the iconic, like the Facebooks of the world. They were down like 50% in year one. I think that. So it's going live at a share price of 135 today. I think it's possible, probably likely, that it runs up to like it's pre-market trading on Hyperliquid like 175 to 185. I think it's likely it runs up to 175, 185, 200 maybe. And then, but at some point, I think the sell-off starts. And so while I think it could be, a short pump today, this week, maybe this month, for as likely as I think that is, I also think it's likely that it trades at or under IPO price over, say, the next 6 months or so. It's a company that's losing $5 billion a year. So to think a company is losing $5 billion a year to get to a valuation of $2 trillion is pretty wild. But I don't think that matters in the short term. I think today it's like people are FOMOing in, they're seeing everyone talk about it. It's, by magnitude, the largest IPO and retail demand ever. And that's going to move the number. You're seeing people long it. Like I think it's probably because speaking of data, historical data, it says this thing's likely to dump and be trading below IPO price in the short term. I'm torn between like my mind and my gut, or mind and heart. I don't know. We will see. There's a chance I end up trading this thing because I just want to feel something today. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't know where I net out. I guess that's where I net out. I think it probably pumps in the short term. Then we see a sell off, and then over the next 5-10 years, it ends up trading higher than IPO price. But I think there's going to be maybe what I should just do is just dollar cost average, just buy a little today and just set something and forget it. And then if it does take off and never pulls back, I'm not completely sidelined, and then full moon in later. But my truth serum take is I do think it will be trading below IPO price at some point. But that's not a unique take, and I'm not saying it's CT consensus. CT consensus actually seems kind of split on this one, and it's also you've got so many VCs, so many funds in this that got in early, so many billions to be made. But those billions aren't made if they don't realize it. It's on paper until they sell. And that's where I wonder, like, I saw Founders Fund stands to make like 50 billion on this IPO. Well, are they just going to keep riding it, or are they going to cash out and take some of their profits? Von Frutten's price target, which he's giving, this is financial advice from an attorney, so it's very valid. The Von Frutten, our in-house attorney, giving financial advice, saying the price target is 190, while the IPO is priced at 135. So yeah, I think I do. I think it probably hits 175 to 200 a day. Break, call it in the middle, call it 190. I just don't know when the sell-off. Like hard for me to believe that you're going to have from individuals to funds be up billions of dollars on this thing and not take some off the table. And I think when they start taking, why I think it sells off is when they start taking something off the table, you can start seeing even like a 5% dip in price. I can see a lot of retail start looking for the exit, start capitulating, feeling that they bought the top, and then the cascade could start very quickly. Primarily because there's just so much retail allocation for this that I don't know. I think they're much likely to get shaken out in the short term than if it was more like prior IPOs where you've got to have much larger account to even participate in this stuff. So, anyways, going to be a fun day. It's supposed to go live around the end of the show. We'll keep eyes on it. I think last I saw. Yesterday we talked about 10 o'clock. It looks like, obviously markets open at 9:30, but public trading for IPOs typically commits mid-morning or early afternoon as bankers build the order book. So we will have to see. Probably not able to trade, but we could start like at the end of the show, 9:50, 10 o'clock. We might, trading might be live. We will see. I may, well, right now I'm not positioned. I didn't request any allocation. Feel like I should have. What I should have done is probably request allocation, sell the pump, and then rebuy the dip. Is what I should have done. I should have made money off. I think the pump today is inevitable, and but then I just as I said, I feel like the sell off is also equally as inevitable. So I should have just traded that. But we're gonna paper trade on this one. Mr. Adam Weitzman picked up a alien node monkey. Our ordinals back. Where are we even buying? Where are we even buying ordinals? What is the ordinals marketplace now? I don't know. Truly have no idea. Since Magic Eden sunset, I have no idea where people are buying ordinals. It looks like, Node Monkey's little pump following Weitzman's buy. It's up to 0.01, or sorry, 0.03. Bitcoin Puppets are 0.01. Try Ordinal. Is that the Ordinal marketplace? Formerly Assembly. It's a platform to draft, plan, and no, that's not it. I don't know. If anyone knows where to buy and sell ordinals, let me know. It's not me. I don't think I hold any orders. I might have like one or some Satflow. Thank you, Mayhem. Appreciate it. Satflow.com/ordinals. Farnick says, I just want hype to keep going up. Could care less about SpaceX. You know what? Brickadall agrees with you. Brickadall just said buy hype today and then rotate to SpaceX under 100. Green Edge Dan got a share. Can I ask how much you requested? How many shares did you request? I'm curious did you request 10 and got one? Did you request 100 and got one? Because this is, I think, what also I'm really curious to see how it plays out. And we won't know exactly, but let's say Dan did request 100 and he got one. I'm guessing a lot of those people in that situation, if you got 1% or even 10% of your request fulfilled, I think they very well could be buyers today. And I think that could lead into the pump. Rig said there's a large amount of the stock is not able to be sold today. Sizable amount of invested in the SpaceX fund through Rockefeller Cap about a year ago. Many of these funds have 90 to 180 days lockups. Interesting. And I have no idea what Oh man, my bad. I really, you know what? I apologize. Dor, that is a pet peeve of mine. When you listen to a podcast and you hear this, it really bothers me. I don't know how it is on the live show, but when I listen to a podcast and I hear someone rattling their ice, it really bothers me. It's a pet peeve. I often, I mean, I'm drinking coffee and I'm sometimes tea, sometimes water, but I do my best to turn down the mic, and I just forgot there. So my bad. My bad. Is that a real ASMR? People actually listen to Ice Cube drinking. I was not aware if that's a thing. It's annoying to me, so I will do my best to not add to anyone else's annoyance. My apologies. But thank you for calling to my attention. I'm not perfect. 1,181 shows. Still working on the perfect show. It's not going to be today. Someday maybe, but it might take us 2,000 shows to get there. Adam, hoping, I also hope OpenSea brings on ordinals. I'm not sure what the, so this is going to be the new ASMR. It's going to be the ice and the keyboard. Me manically pounding the keyboard because I know it is very loud. Do you hear the mouse clicks? Do you hear that, or is it just the keyboard? Bloomberg reporting that Trade XYZ's SpaceX pre-IPO perp market shares indicate more than 35% higher in shadow trading. SpaceX tied perpetual futures contracts that don't expire on crypto venue Hyperliquid were trading around 180, implying a valuation of more than 2.3 trillion. Also, I'm wondering, what does this do to the woke left that really hate Elon? What does this do today? When he becomes a trillionaire, did they just simply change their verbiage to billionaires and trillionaires? Did they exclusively just hate trillionaires? Or is Elon out of the woods now because he's I guess he's still a billionaire, but wouldn't be proper to call him a billionaire after today, most likely. So what what is the narrative shift to? I am that's what the people are really wondering about today. They cry very salty tears. Yeah, maybe. Official Polymarket saying SpaceX officially starts trading at 10 a.m. Eastern. Cool. We will maybe we'll hang out until 10:05 to see how things open. I think it's going to go up. I think it's going to rip. I will I'll play Prices Right with Von Frunten. I'll say that target is 191. 191 is $1 over Von Frunten. So closest without going over. I'm going to say 191. But I would not be surprised if it rips up over 200 today. And I wonder if there's a scenario as well where, so whether it's the funds, whether it's these employees, the individuals, those who sell, and the millionaires, the billionaires, those who take their gains, what do they rotate into? Other stocks that are also high right now, like that are part of this AI pump? Is it complete hopium to think that Bitcoin could catch a bid today? As in the next week, the next month, as people start taking gains and aren't allocated to crypto? Does this someone has $1 million windfall? Did they allocate 10% of that and buy a Bitcoin or two? I really don't know. This is fun. Rekt. They should all rotate into Rektcoin. That's what they should do. Rekt at Tons of Rock. So I thought this was an OKX tease when I first saw this, and it may be. But instead of announcing OKX, and they obviously Soulberry sold out, so congrats to the Rekt team there. But this Tons of Rock, Rekt is excited to keep the Artists of Norway's largest festival hydrated this June. So this is in Norway, Tons of Rock. Lineup's pretty impressive, though. It is The Offspring. I can't read all these, but The Offspring, Iron Maiden, Anthrax, Youngblood, and Limp Bizkit. I would actually go see The Offspring and Limp Bizkit. Offspring was awesome. Offspring was very much so part of my, man, I think pre-high school when they would have been in my, yeah, it was pre-driving. I remember my neighbor, his mom used to drive us to school, and we would listen. Like core memory was listening to Offspring on the way to school. So it would have been early to mid 90s. But yeah, I would go see an Offspring show as well as Limp Bizkit show. I'm not sure they hit like they would have back then, but love to see it. I love that Wrecked is. I mean, a lot of people talk about breaking out of crypto and Web3 and actually, taking their product, their brand to the masses. Wrecked's actually doing it, and I haven't looked for a long time. This will be a perfect lead into a market update because I've not checked. By the way, I just realized 8:41. You all are for a Friday. I'm kind of disappointed. You're all leaving me hang here on a 42-minute monologue on a Friday. That's not the norm. People sleeping? Is everyone like dialed in, getting ready to how they're going to prep to trade this SpaceX IPO? What's going on this morning? Mayhem still listen to. I'm going to listen to some Offspring today. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put Offspring back in my rotation. This is, before we get to the daily market update, just a quick look at Wrecked coin, down 43% on the month. $36 million market cap. I'm going to buy some Wrecked. Maybe this is the week I become a Wrecked trillionaire. Probably not, but I do hold. I mean, if Elon can become a trillionaire, maybe if you're wondering how you could become a trillionaire, Wrecked trillionaire might be in your cards. Market cap's 24 million, and now it is up on the day, up 2% on the day, down on the week, 43% on the month, 76% on the year. It's just been down only. And yet the team continues to ship, they continue to deliver. They're buying and burning. If you're not familiar, they're 10% of the revenue, like they're generating real revenue. And then they're taking 10% of that revenue, buying back Wreck coin and burning it. Man, I don't know as if either like alts and in particular in this case brand coins are just dead and just not going to happen, or if this is one of the buying opportunities of the cycle. Because from an execution standpoint, hard to I guess you could say Pingu ApeCoin, but as far as an execution standpoint for alts that came out of not saying they're exactly tied to an NFT, but for alts that came out of the NFT space, as far as execution and actually building real businesses with real revenue, like they're on the short list of really high level executors. It's just the market seemingly does not care. Let's do this daily market update, and then if anyone else has anything on your mind other than SpaceX IPO, let me know, and we will we'll hit on that after the daily market update here. But this is the daily market. We are excited. I know we're excited to announce new sponsorship next week. Going to be doing some fun stuff. Hans, thank you very much for the generous tip. I greatly appreciate it. We will be, one of the things that's going to be included in this new partnership, we're really excited that it's going to be, we're doing an interview series sponsored by a new partner. But it's not them. Often we'll do like a sponsor interview or sometimes a campaign. We've done even, I guess, think of similar, like we used to do Ape Chain Architects, or, we featured some builders from Unvault. So like that, but not limited to any particular ecosystem. Just up and coming builders, people pushing the space forward. They wanted to support the space. And so we'll be doing just, quick live read, maybe a jingle at the beginning, maybe at the end of that interview series. But we often people reach out and want to come on the show. And we do bring on people if it's newsworthy, if it's noteworthy, complimentary, the first one's on us from time to time. Oftentimes people just don't have the budget, or, they're just their bootstrap startup and they're not quite there yet. This is an opportunity for, come get featured on the show. Basically let us, we're sharing in the sponsorship. New partner is helping highlight and amplify other builders. Really love it. Really excited. Just as we're excited about Beezy and how, while the show, myself, we don't make any money off of the Beezy partnership. I get a badge, a Beezy badge, which I'm proud to rock. And we get to do Coffee with Captain every week. And then our community member of the month is sponsored by Beezy. This similar but different. So if you're a builder, if you'd like to be featured on the show, we've got a few more slots now, at least one a week as part of this interview series. And really excited about that. DL said he was hoping Wrecked would hit those 7s again. Was going to buy then, missed it the other day. You might still get your chance at this current pace. This trend is looking like you might have the opportunity to get it there, because it's just not responding. The market's not responding. The price action is not responding to any of the catalysts. They announce something, they're doing a big music festival sponsorship, or they launch with Phase Gaming and the watermelon drink, and number just keep going down. It's tough. I mean, I also, while it's tough, I think it even drives more respect that I have for the team. They really don't waver. They keep shipping regardless of price action, and really rooting for them. Joey, I'm going to do a market update. Do you want to get in here before the market update on something we've been talking about, or do you want to hold your comments and takes until after the market update?
No, I wanted to. Sorry, I'm choking on something.
Let's say you okay? Sounds like you're choking.
The token. This is something that we, real quick, just before you do your market update, and then we can. I sent you the code, by the way. It's a funny one, I think. So, we talked about this when Wrecked, as well as some other brands, went quote unquote mainstream, when they went into Web 2, when they launched their drinks, when they launched their comics or their shorts, or and they're trying to bridge that gap to become a household brand and a household name, and how it would affect their NFT prices and their token, and and we had all these theses on that we talked about on stage up here. I don't know how many times, whether it was Pengu, Wrecked, Dude, there's so many others, right? And I think we're starting to see that and maybe it's still too early, but I think we're starting to see that there's not a connection.
Yeah.
Like the success of Rex drinks, whether it's the powders, the carbonated, I think there's potentially some, I think they mentioned, are there some hard seltzers coming too, or no?
I don't know if that's been teased yet or not.
Okay, so maybe I'm wrong though, right? But all this success that we're seeing from these companies is not rolling back into their Web3 businesses, right? People are not buying all of they for Pudgy Penguins, and they came out with the penguin bouquet and all that stuff for Valentine's Day, and it all sold out, and their toys are doing really well.
So what's holding up the Pingu coin then? I mean, Pingu's still trading at a $423 million market cap. FDP fully diluted at $600 million.
But it's not where, I guess, right? But where did it start? Right. And I understand a lot of stuff is down.
Fair.
Right. And I understand a lot of stuff is down. I'm not saying, ETH is down, Bitcoin's down, everything's down, right? But the success of their Web 2 businesses is not translating into what we all thought, or not thought, but maybe hoped it would, which was people coming to buy the NFTs, people coming to buy the token going up. I don't know what else Rec needs to do with all the sell-through that they've had with their drinks and the sellouts and the big partnerships with big box stores.
I'm with you.
I don't know.
What would you do? I don't know. Most of the other times where we have some feedback, some ideas, some maybe critique. They're executing nonstop. It's I see Steve out there, GM buddy. Great to see you. Not speaking of another team that's executing. We were talking Cups of the World yesterday. We used to talk about they need a monthly activation. Steve and I, we used to say that about any of these NFT communities, any of these I think we said it often with like ApeCoin. Another team that's been executing, like Figgy's on fire. Similarly, and I know it's not. I know like markets, crypto markets as a whole are down, but it's like, is this just a bear market, or is that just not going to accrue value like we might have once hoped? Like ApeCoin team is executing. Figgy's been on fire. NFTs are going up. ApeCoin's still down 15% in the last month, and ApeCoin's like tied to other sides, tied to what they're building. It's down 81% on the year.
I mean, my problem with like Rekt and ApeCoin, I think it's still to be determined, right? Like
ApeCoin's actually down worse than Rekt. Rekt's down 76% on the year. ApeCoin's down 81%. So ApeCoin's actually down worse than Rekt on the year. And again, these teams are executing as good as anyone in crypto. Pingu down 37% on the year. Again, maybe it's just a bear market. Maybe there's opportunities to stack here, but
what's the connection? That's where I guess I'm still struggling with. Like with ApeCoin, we know the connection is probably going to be other side and use cases and stuff with other side. But like with Rekt, what is the use case for Rekt coin that directly ties excuse me, that directly ties to the success of their Web2 business, right? Like I understand they're giving out rewards, like really simple, like you oh man, I'm sorry. That with the base app where you scanned and you got your tokens, and that's great. But what's going to make the token go up? I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, part of me wants to say like buy pressure. Part of me wants to say
rewards and selling them.
Dorset, Joey, get some water, bud. Part of me wants to say like the buy pressure. Like if the team is using revenues to buy back their token, it's equivalent, similar to buying back stock. Is it, free money? Mayhem says free money. Give people free money, they're come. Rekt is. Where's my little?
Yeah, but they're just selling that free money though, right? Like, but if you buy Rekt drink and you get Rekt token, nobody is like, people are just selling that Rekt for USDC or for something else, right? Like there needs to be a reason for people to hold the Rekt or buy more Rekt. And maybe I don't know enough, but is there a reason for anybody to go out and buy Rekt right now outside of speculation? And I'm not knocking them. I think they're doing an incredible job. But if we're talking about the token and the NFTs, which is what started all this, what is the reason to go out and buy the token unless it's just speculation? Like, are they gonna, like, to me, I feel like, why haven't they launched a Rekt store where I can buy all this stuff? Maybe they don't want to because they don't want the token themselves. And I'm not speaking
but
for
they
them,
are, they buy
right?
the token.
But like, why is there not an online Rekt store with product, like product only available
in Rekt
to be bought by Rekt holders with Rekt token?
Or you get a discount, you buy with Rekt, like, and maybe that stuff just doesn't work. I mean, hey, can you? I mean, this is actually valid feedback, right? Like, I'm a big fan of I'm 3 product placement. I got two things of Rekt, 2 Rekt canisters. I need to order more Rekt today. I'm out. So I set the second one up there. I'm a big fan. I'm a fan of the brand. I'm a fan of the product. I use the product. And I also, I buy a lot of merch in this space. I have way too much merch for that matter. I have zero desire to go drop $50 on a Rekt hat. Well, for one, I can't pull off these hats anyways. Like I can't do the snapbacks, the flat bills. They just don't work for me. But I'm gonna drop $90 on a polo. I'm not gonna drop $125 on a hoodie. Zero desire. But if you told me I could go, I got 140 million Rekt coin when I claimed this. If you told me like I could go get a hat for 200 million Rekt coin, I might. I'd consider it, assuming that Rekt coin that I could redeem for merch is less than the USD amount. I don't know if that by itself isn't the answer, but I hear you on what can I do with the token?
I mean, right now, and this is kind of crazy to bring this up, but like I'm in a Discord where we're all like it's like one of those Discords where it's always hunting for discounts and specials and releases. Marlboro, okay, Marlboro, the cigarette company. Who smokes cigarettes anymore? It's like, I don't know anybody, but Marlboro
Coming back.
Weekly,
I hear they're coming back.
if you're they are?
I don't know.
So like if you're a member of Marlboro, right? Like you sign up for their program every week, you get to spin a wheel for a chance to win like free money, just for like signing up for their program, their account, right? I don't buy cigarettes, I don't care, but every week like this Discord's like, hey, it's time to spin the wheel, see if you win a free gift card, right? Like a free Visa gift card or whatever it is, right? And like to me, there should be something being done by all of these brands weekly that keeps people coming back, right? That keeps them rewarded. So like if you're a Rect holder, why is there not like a weekly or a monthly, like, hey, come in, check in as a Rect NFT holder or a Rect token holder and get a chance to win a free case of Rect. And I'm not saying that like like to your point, it's not like a hat's going to fix all the problems, right? But you need to encourage people to, number one, hold your NFTs and your tokens, and number two, give them a reason to keep coming back. Like it sounds stupid, right? But like that's why we created Quests at Beezy, like the daily check-in and the daily claw streak, right? Like we wanted to give people a reason to come to the website every single day, even if it was just to spin one claw for $30, right? To earn points, that those points can then be used for something else. So like I still hold all of my Rect. I did not sell. I should have sold at the top. I didn't, because I believed that somehow they would connect all of this that they're building in Web 2 back to the token, and there would be some benefit. Yes, I'm a terrible trader. Always trade the opposite of me. Okay. So, but I just don't know how or see what's ever going to make that token go back to where it was if they don't find a way to convince people. Like, again, a Rect store. Why is there not an online store that you could only get access to as a Rect NFT or Rect token holder that you can buy Rect drinks from? So, and then that token somehow gets burned or whatever. I don't know, right? But like, to me, that would be a no-brainer to allow your holders to spend their token on more Rect product to get more Rect into the world.
Yeah, and that by itself isn't it. But I agree conceptually more. I mean, I was beating the alignment drum with these NFT PFPs for the longest time. And some of these brands are starting to really lean into that. And I'm not saying that's why their floor price is up, but there's probably some correlation there. I think same thing with all these coins. Why? Other than, okay, a lot of people hold Pingu because they believe in the brand, they believe in Luca, and it's long-term speculative play. But if you're someone who just bought a toy, if you're someone who just bought a pack of drinks, if you're someone who just got a $2 kit in the other side, you just got introduced to it and you're enjoying the gameplay there and you want to start building out, why, other than just speculating the number go up, why would I hold this thing? And the counter is going to be like, well, I don't get any utility for holding Tesla stock or SpaceX stock. You know, you're not going to get any dividends for a while. It's just you're speculating on a number go up on something that today is losing $5 billion a year. Not too unlike.
But that stock price is directly tied to the success of SpaceX, right? If SpaceX is successful or Tesla is successful, stock price goes up. If they're not, stock price goes down. Rect is successful. They are selling, and they did create a legitimate business, but the success of that business is not impacting the success of their token. Because the token doesn't mean you own anything, right? Like when you buy stock in a company, you technically own a piece of that company. So there's a direct correlation to revenue and profits and the success of that stock. This token doesn't grant you ownership of Rect. So you don't own shares, which means the success, you don't share in the company success.
Yeah, been a while since we've seen Musty. Always a pleasure. GM, sir, what thoughts on this? What brought you up this morning?
Yo, yeah, yeah. Whenever these companies launch tokens, I mean, it's like the Doodle problem, right? You don't actually have to own a Doodle to be involved in Doodles, right? You can just like go to the store and go buy their merch, right? It's like all these projects, Penguins, all of it's the same way, right? So it's like, why would I buy this asset that eventually will just take an absolute shit, even if it eventually does go back up? Why would I buy this thing that will eventually take an absolute shit just to buy a plushie or buy a drink or buy a whatever, right? So I don't know if Rec does this or if they could do this, but I recently bought this coin, like, you know, the TCG Met is popping off, right? There's this guy, his name is Zeep. He still rocks a Photon badge. He's an OG meme corner. He launched a coin called Berries, and this is not a shill or whatever, I'm just explaining this. He launched a coin called Berries. And Berries is a one-piece coin, right? Because right now everybody is all up on Pokemon, glazing Pokemon, right? But there's nobody doing it for One Piece. So essentially,
whoa. I gotta interrupt there. One Piece is actually headed straight to the moon. Whatever, maybe not in this space, but like in IRL, everybody's on One Piece.
I know that. That's what I'm saying. Nobody's doing it on One Piece in crypto, right? For the most part, right? Everyone's glazing Pokemon. I know that One Piece is about to go absolutely parabolic, right? And so does he. And he's a One Piece OG, yada yada yada, right? So he has a fat collection, and what he decided to do is he launched this coin. If you own X amount of berries, I think it's like 250K berries. He just has this like manual or like this automatic, you know, rolling system of all the wallets that hold 250K berries, right? And you could win a card from his collection, right? So it could be a $50 card, $60 card, $2,000 card, whatever it is, right? And he just does this a couple times a day, you know, it does it automatically or whatever, right? And then just last night, just vibe coding, he launched this other thing for the website, which is if you spend X amount of berries, you can spend your berries, you could burn it, like it'll burn the supply of berries. Or if you don't own berries, you can spend USDC and it'll burn the equivalent amount of berries. So I don't know if Rect can do something like this or any of these projects, right? Where, I don't know, just give away just roll people constantly and give away people free drinks. I don't fucking know, dude. A box a week, 2 boxes a week. I don't know. Something like this.
Yeah, it's a tough spot. And I see the feedback, very sharp people. Hey, how do we need money to grow our company. We need money to build product. And while I agree, Pingu or Igloo, Rect, I believe Yuga, I think it's all under Yuga now. I'm not exactly sure where the treasury sits. All these brands, they hold a lot of token. And some cases it's operating capital, in other cases it's marketing budget. And, you know, at one point Rect had like a $50 million marketing budget because of Rect Coin. I don't know what it is today. It's not 50 million, but a lot of what they've done, a lot of their building has been a result of, they wouldn't be able to do it without Rect Coin. Like they simply didn't raise that kind of money. So there's, I think, logical reasons as to why they'd want to have sinks and do things that would create some sort of demand for the token to keep number up or from going to zero, because it benefits them not just in the money. Like if we're giving away, you know, cases of drinks for Rect Coin and they're Rect Coin at a discount, is it bringing in dollars? No. But if it's keeping the price of Rect Coin stable or, God forbid, going up, that's increasing their balance sheet. Like it's increasing their marketing budget. Like that just, and maybe the answer is just short-lived. Maybe like, yeah, you can do that to bootstrap, but eventually if the tokens just turn to zero, like you need to reach escape velocity before the token gets to zero. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I'm one that maybe I'm just stubborn, but I feel as if there's ways to connect, I mean, maybe the answer is just regulation gets to a point where these things can just become actual securities, and these tokens are treated like a lower share of, or a lower class of, like stock. Yeah, to that point of like, maybe it's you use it to bootstrap, Joe responded, yeah, so it accomplished what it needs to. But to scale and to compete, they need to have payments and fiat. So opening a store which only costs them money because product is exchanged for a shitcoin is not the best way to expand. It's all cost. Yeah, fair.
I mean, that was my point. It's probably not a good idea to sell product in Rect, but because it's not quote unquote money, but having something for your holders, give them I mean, it doesn't have to, you don't have to sell all of your product in Rect, but I mean, what if I'm buying Rect at the grocery store and I'm getting free Rect coin as a reward, I'm not holding it. I'm flipping it right into USDC right away.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't. I held mine. It was $20. Like, all right, could I swap and I bought 2 cases? Could I have $40 in my base app? Yeah. But it's like, what am I gonna do with that $40? Go buy a lunch? I kept
but that $40 can very quickly become $20 if you don't swap it.
A lot of people would just sell it and buy lunch, dude. I'd probably sell it and buy lunch, bro. That's like 2 Happy Meals or whatever.
I would too. That's literally.
Wait,
like
can you?
That's like dinner. It's dinner at Chipotle for me and my family.
Can you buy lunch at McDonald's for $20 anymore? I don't know. I've not been in a couple decades, but
they got a lot of deals now, dude. I know you're on your health shit, but McDonald's got a lot of deals now these days, dudes. They're running it back.
This is bring back the Wendy's dollar menu. People joke like instead of buying Bitcoin in 2012, actually this was well before 2012. Instead of buying Amazon stock in from 1999 to 2003, I was dollar cost averaging into the Wendy's dollar menu. The amount of Wendy's dollar menu items I ate while in college is and in today's inflation adjusted dollars, it might have been $1 million. This is an old post I'm sharing here, but I said 50 million for this post. This wasn't that long ago. This is last summer. They had a $200 million marketing budget because of Reccoin. Nick says, can you name another upcoming brand with a marketing budget like that? It's time to think bigger. And while it's not 200 million today, Devon Front point, mission accomplished. Reccoin was successful. It helped them get out of the starting gates. Rect, I think it's safe to say, Rect Drinks doesn't sell nearly as many drinks as they have. They don't have near the collaborations they have if it wasn't for Reccoin. Reccoin helped make a lot of that possible. And now, maybe the simple answer is that phase is done. Like it accomplished the goal. It was a startup marketing budget for them. And now holders, might they want to see number go up? Yeah. Does the team, I'm sure the team still wants to see number go up. I'm sure they still hold some in their treasury. I'm sure, I would imagine the founders and the team hold some Reccoin, but there's a world where it goes to zero and they look back like, yeah, good thing we launched Reccoin. Like it did. Mission accomplished. Goals accomplished. Like it helped fund a marketing budget that allowed them to compete with much larger drink brands. They don't have this phase partnership without Reccoin. I'm near certain of that. I guess my question then for Von Frunten and Joe and he adds coins will never become equity. You can issue compliant stocks, synthetics on chain already. If you start messing around with stock issuance, you're on a fast track to zero. You need bank buy-in to sell your IPO. No bank is going to underwrite a brand play with exposure to underclass shares issued with a bank coin. I agree that. I also think that, I don't necessarily expect many of these brands to go the IPO route. Some will, sure. Some are going to attempt to. I hear you there. I think more. My mindset when I'm talking about this is more like the small medium business mindset. Is there? I think okay, you're launching a drink brand, a retail play next month. Are you crazy to launch a brand coin? I don't think so. If you do so with the expectation that you could get anywhere, $1 million of a marketing budget, $10 million, $200 million marketing budget, while it may be short-lived, if it helps you if it helps you get to the next phase, if it helps you get the attention, helps you get out of the starting gates, I think there's still some merit in that. I'm not going to give up on the idea that these things could be baked into some sort of circular economy, some sort of ecosystem where there is some ongoing utility that's not equity. Rigs ads, this still creates sell pressure because the vendor or the partner almost always has to sell to cover tax liability. That's why creating uses for tokens has an opposite effect many times. Yeah, I get it. You know, so the example of the FaZe partnership, they might have paid FaZe in RecCoin. They probably almost immediately. So maybe we're working backwards here and solving this, you know, for a team that continues to execute. Why does token keep going down? Well, with every activation, that's sell pressure. Every time they launch one of these collaborations, they might help them land the collaboration. And let's say, I don't know, let's say it was a $5 million cost to ink that deal. Well, that's $5 million of sell pressure. It cost them $10 million. It was $10 million of sell pressure. Because these brands they're collaborating with, they may be paying them in RecCoin, but they're probably almost immediately selling the token. I mean, and this goes from crypto native brands doing deals with Web 2 or you know, in the traditional world. Same thing happens in Web 3. Without naming any names, like, you know, we work with a few agencies, and most of the time, those agencies are getting paid with the protocol, the chain, the project's native token. We don't have an option to get the token. Even if I said, "Oh, we'd like to get paid in the token," I mean, I could immediately swap, but every deal I've ever done that's come through an agency, 100% of those have been paid in USDC or USDT, and yet the agency is almost always being paid in the underlying token. So yeah, every deal, every catalyst for attention often, if not always, leads to sell pressure. Go ahead, Joey.
I mean, listening to you now and then reading the comments in the war room, it just leads me to back to the thesis I had with some of these other tokens, which is get allocation, flip to USDC. If the whole point of Rect, and I'm not putting words in their mouth, I'm not speaking for them, but if the whole point of Rect was to give them a marketing budget and the ability to go build their own business, and now a year or 2 years later, it's not worth anything to us based on where it was previously, why are we holding? And I'm not mad at them for it. Like, I'm glad they were able to use that money to fund the marketing, the partnerships, and build their business. I want everybody to build a business and be successful. But like, I look at it like, if that's what the whole point was, if, like Von Frunten said, it was successful because it gave them that money, right, to do this, I'm not going to hold anymore. I'm a seller on day one from now on every single one of these tokens, because I don't want to just fund your business and then watch my holdings go to zero.
Yeah.
And maybe that's harsh, but like, what is my thought process wrong? If that's what the whole point of Rect was?
100% right, bro.
Yeah.
You're the last one holding the bag. when Rect was pumping, I never saw anybody post a picture of the chart and say, "Oh my God, I'm so lucky to be supporting this brand when I bought at the bottom and now it's on pair." But dude, nobody said that. Everyone was just posting how fat their bags were, and they dumped fucking 2 hours later. Like, there's no reason to hold any of this shit. Pengu is at this point is only propped up because of the speculation that they'll do more shit, abstract, whatever. And then once that's all said and done, it's also just going to go to shit, bro.
And
All
market
the shit-
makers.
Yeah, but
I think it's also being held by.
But with Pengu, we're not even like, the speculation is that we're getting another token. So we've talked about this before with, like, you launched Pengu, but then you launched Abstract, and then there's going to be an Abstract token. So why are there going to be two tokens, and what's the difference going to be between the two tokens? So we're holding Pengu, hoping for another token that we don't even know about, that we don't even know when it's coming, in support of what? Like, this is a hard business. Building in Web3 is a very difficult place to build, because you have a lot of people that spend a lot of money on your assets, whether it's NFTs or tokens, and then they want results. But I still struggle with where does it all trickle back down to the people that are holding these tokens and these NFTs when you launch your brand in Web2, IRL, whatever. if it's not some type of redistribution of profits, how
So the only
I'm going to buy Pudgy Penguins because they're going to get so popular because they've got 1 billion Giphy views. Everybody's going to come and buy Pudgy Penguin NFTs. It's not happening.
Yeah, the only way today to legally redistribute those profits in a roundabout way is you can't. It would make it a security, but the roundabout way, the indirect way, is the buy and burn. You know, you take a percentage of revenue, you buy a token, you burn a token. Therefore, by reducing supply, theoretically, as supply reduces, numbers should go up. It's just none of that supply is getting reduced fast enough to have the impact. I mean, Hyperliquid would maybe be the exception. But, you know, Diablito ads, they burn also the amount of revenue they're generating and the amount of token they're buying, everything else pales in comparison. Diablito ads, they burn Rekt on the daily with the daily art sales, then they buy and burn Rekt to match the sales. It ain't much, but it's something. Yeah, I get it. And any, you know, real world revenue they're generating, I think it's 10% of that revenue they take and they buy and burn the token. So it's something. But by itself, that's not enough. The other, like we're talking about, like if you're,
would you want to though, Cap? Like as a business, but like, would you, if you're the Rekt founders, would you really want to be using your profits to burn your token? Like I wouldn't. I'd want to be using those profits to continue to grow my business and pay employees. And so, like, is that really the solution? Just to use your profits to buy the token and burn it?
I've never felt good about that. The whole burning tokens, it's just never.
It's artificial. It's not legitimate.
Well, right? and again, you're burning
money.
You're burning. Yeah, you're using real money to burn. You're basically burning dollars. You're burning, like no one would go burn. You have $10,000 in your account. You're not going to go burn that. It's just I've never felt great about it. I get the why behind it. It's just it's not something I would be interested in doing. Building a business.
Imagine what you could do with that money. You could get end cap space in a Publix or in a Target or like, and obviously that's very expensive, but like you're taking that money that could be used to grow your business just to burn a token to try to keep your token holders happy, but it's not even making enough of a dent to make the token go up. So you're literally lighting your money on fire for what?
I mean, the for what would be to theoretically drive number up. And so if you're holding on your balance sheet, that becomes more. Token buybacks are like stock buybacks. Yes and no. I mean, yeah, if you have major allocation, increase it. Yeah. With the stock, you do have a claim on future revenue, future profits. You just don't have that with the token. The other reason, like the why, I posed the question, you're launching a business next month. Are you crazy to launch a brand coin? Why would you launch a brand coin? Quoting Von Frunten here, I'd argue there's a short-term thesis for brand coins as a way to jumpstart distribution. Assuming you have buying pool that values the token, it gets you in the door, but I'd also argue it's more of a liability long-term compared to where else the company could be allocating resources. And then he goes on to use the example of, we bought Rekt drinks. I made more than my purchase price in Rekt coin. Rekt won, I won. It worked in brand coin. So it's like maybe at the end of the day, maybe where this whole brand coin idea nets out is it works in the early days. It's a good, but I guess my counter to that or question, Von Frunten, would be, is it though? If we all, like, it worked the first time, it worked with Rekt, is that repeatable if everyone knows that this thing's eventually going to turn to zero? Like, does it have the ability to actually drive distribution, actually drive demand, and people participate in something like that if they believe that the token's just going to go to zero?
But it only worked when the token was way up. It doesn't work now. Like with where the price is of Rekt, you're not going to make more money on your reward for buying Rekt in retail, or am I wrong? Because I remember Von Frunten talked about that reward when Rekt was doing, right, when we were all up on Rekt because it was at an all-time high. But again, even if that's the reward, who is keeping the rect? Nobody. If I went and bought a $20 case of rect and you gave me $50, $40 in rect token, I'm immediately cashing that to USDC. And then I'm paying off the credit card that I used to buy the $20 in rect drink, where I earned my 3% or 5% cash back, right? Like, I'm not going to hold the rect, the $40 worth of rect, if that's the case. So again, there's no reason to hold the token. So even if you're giving away these rewards, you're still not helping price go up, because everyone's going to convert it to USDT.
I'm going to get Von Front in here next. Curious to hear him expand on his takes. Appreciate you sharing in the war room and helping me collect my thoughts. I'll just say this. I think the reality of the situation, and from my perspective, is whether Brandcoin or token in general, it's to Frosty's point, most distribute like 50% of the supply to themselves. The team, the company, this is our marketing budget, our marketing pool. So yeah, I agree. That makes sense. And the reality is, at least in the short term, it's possible to trying to choose my words properly here, because I'm not saying manipulate. It's possible to manufacture pumps. It's possible to work with market makers and say, hey, let's keep price above X. What you're paying them, like I've never hired a market maker. I did launch a token once on Boop to get my free $3,500, but I've never really launched a token. I think that so I don't know what that cost, right? I don't know what it costs to deploy a market maker to have them support a token from a price standpoint, but it certainly works. You know, assuming that whatever your allocation that you're able to sell is, you're going to be able to sell it for more than what you're paying the market makers. And because we've seen it done again and again, it's certainly the math can math profitably. I don't know. Von Frunten, is the Brandcoin experiment over? Is this just a bear market? It is what it is. And to your point, it works. It's just not going to work forever. It works to help launch. It works to help bootstrap something, to your point, gain distribution, gain some initial marketing funds, but you've got to reach escape velocity in, say, the first 12 to 24 months. Otherwise, it's over.
Yep. GM, everybody.
GM,
that's kind of where I'm going. And I think it's look, I don't know what the rec team set out with like the goal of the token. I don't know what their marketing, like what they actually spent in marketing, right? But I look at it in like the same way, like, you know, Luca used to talk about, like, hey, if you're launching a brand, launch an NFT first, get your like rabid community to help support you and get escape velocity, right? I look at all of these as escape velocity tactics that allow you to punch way above your weight class, assuming like it was cheaper to pay a market maker to keep a brand token going than it would have been to take that same amount of money to get the same amount of reach through traditional marketing channels, right? But the point that I was making in the war room is that, like, is exactly what we're all talking about, right? I mean, Reccoin has been out for what, year and a half-ish or so, maybe longer. I forget when it launched. And we're sitting here complaining that they're not doing anything, right? If I'm the rec team, I am focused on building my drink empire. I am focused on my activations that I'm doing in concerts and X Games. I am focused on getting into the next batch of grocery stores and, you know, around the world to build this drink brand, which I'm assuming is the primary goal of my company, is to build a drink brand that I can go sell to Coca-Cola or somebody for $1 billion, right? And be, you know, the next Olipop or whatever. So a token and keeping token holders happy and creating all these sinks for token holders so they have a reason to hold is a distraction. right? If I'm thinking of this like as a business owner, right?
Yep.
So it worked, and even if it wasn't up, even I know I personally like made a lot more because the token was up. Let's just say, hey, I bought $50 worth of Rec Drink, and the token was down, and I still got $20 back. But it was cheaper for me to do it that way, and because I'm part of Web3, I was in that super early adopter phase, and I had a reason to buy because yay Brandcoin, and it got the demand, coming out of Giant Eagle or whatever, that they were able to then replenish that order and get momentum going, right? Great. I got a cheap drink that I, depending on the flavor, I may or may not have liked. They got the volume, everybody wins. Fantastic. Good. It worked. Now, the downside is I've got this token that is out in the wild forever that somebody is going to expect me to keep pumping value
Utility
into.
debt. We're back to utility debt, right? Whether it's NFTs or brand
and
coin.
I have utility debt. So I think it's hard, right? Like you have to keep the value up enough to make it worthwhile, right? Like if we're all getting 50 cents back on our $50 purchase, no one's probably doing something. So there's a certain amount of market making that you need to put into it to keep the value propped up to some level, right? And hey, you hit a bull market and it runs up to what it did, bonus. But I'd be really interested in my hypothesis, because I know the people at Rect are ridiculously smart and very financially oriented, that when you added it up, it was probably cheaper to go to market that way and expand their reach than to put social media ads out there and Google ads and things like that to try to launch that way, right?
Yep.
They ran a good business. We got a benefit out of it. And I think, the downside of all of this is, hey, if you held out your bag too long, like you do with any bag, you probably saw some downside, right? And that's always the risk that comes with speculation on anything related to crypto.
I think, let me ask you it this way. If you're Rekt, and to answer your question, it looks like the token launched in November of 2024. So 18 months. Are you glad you launched Rectcoin, or would you prefer, you think you'd be better off if you didn't lose it?
I love that I launched Rectcoin.
Yeah, same.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it made a ton of sense, right? Look at it. Like I sold 1 million cans in my first year, right? If I'm saying this like I'm Rectcoin, or like I'm Ovi, right? But like you sold 1 million cans in your first year because of Rectcoin and because of Web3, right?
Yep.
That then gave you the opportunity to get into Waitrose and Giant Eagle and all of these distributors around the world, right? That gave you the ability to partner with X Games and to partner with whatever this Norway Limp Bizkit concert is. Right? But like
that's new life goal.
Opportunities that you wouldn't have had without it, right? And so like I said, they ran, if I think of Rectcoin not as a token, but as a marketing campaign, and however much money they needed to spend to maintain Rectcoin for that period of time, that was probably one of the single smartest marketing campaign spends I could think of for a brand like that coming into a ridiculously crowded, competitive market.
Yep.
Right. And now, the trade-off is I have this long tail and token holders, and somebody's going to be mad at me for not making their token valuable. And I got to deal with that. And maybe in the great trade-off, I'm fine dealing with that, level of hate out there because of all the good the Brandcoin allowed me to achieve.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and also a lot of variables, right? Like most at launch, most the token wasn't bought. It was rather claimed by NFT holders, right? Like people got it for free by buying drinks. Like, so while yes, there is likely some people who bought the Pico top and they're down and they're looking for some utility or they want number to go back up. I don't think, whereas some coins, some tokens have led to impacting goodwill in a negative way, had added utility debt because expectations of the buyer, that the buyer set their own expectations. It wasn't the brand saying this, but I think in the case of Rekt, they don't have, my read is they don't have nearly as much of that negative goodwill or that utility debt or those expectations because of how it's been distributed. And I think even today, most of their holders that are long are probably still up. It's actually, I know the all-time chart says it's down 27%, but if you look on launch, it launched November 22nd, November 21st at, we'll just say 6 cents, 0.06. Well, today it's 0.07. It's actually up from launch. You know, you look at the whole chart, like it went way down to at one point another zero there, I guess, before the 7. But it's down from its peak by quite a bit. But it's not the team's fault. Again, that was the market. And if you, I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's the same price today as it was when they launched. I don't remember exactly what market cap it opened up at, but one more question. I'm going to kick it right back to Von Front, and we'll get back to Joey. I guess my question, Von Front, is like, yes, I think we all agree this played out. It was a good move by Rekt. It enabled what they've accomplished. It really helped jumpstart them. It was a great way to bootstrap. I like viewing it as a marketing campaign as opposed to like comparing this to what would be your social media spend, what would be your cost of acquisition of all these customers, all these collaborations in the more traditional sense. And I think it's a no-brainer that this was far superior. The question I still have in my head, I'm going back and forth on is, could it be done again? Could someone today launch and run back the Rekt playbook? And I don't know. I mean, to Joe's point earlier, I mean, we were talking more so about tokens and crypto in general and people coming into crypto. And I said, well, it didn't, you know, the failure of ICOs didn't stop people from coming into crypto in 2021. You know, so just because like what would stop people coming in today? And the answer was, oh, the world's in a very different place. Like it is, you know, just, I guess the question, Von Front, is, could someone in a different industry run back the Rekt playbook today and have even remotely, could they have any success, let alone as much success as Rektcoin did? Again, I know there's a lot of variables. I know it's you need a lot more information to actually answer the question. But let's say the team executed just as well, they did just as good. Could we see a brand coin deliver, forget $200 million worth of a marketing budget, even like $10 million marketing budget for a startup is insane. Like, is that even possible today, in your opinion?
Before I answer that, I'm going to plug buying a DGen Genesis Pass for the humor in the War Room alone today of everybody piling on Joey's cough from earlier. So if that's not reason to buy a pass and get to the War Room, I don't know what is. But
you know what? Here's what we need to do. Here's my request. Oh, hey, here right back to you. Sorry for the interruption. I just shout out to Diablito shared. This is like the most recent. He's got AI basically creating daily art, to which then it sells, and when it sells, they use the proceeds and they buy Rektcoin and they burn it. Here's what we need to do, Zane. We need a Zane whiteboard doodle, daily whiteboard doodle that we'll list for auction. We sell it during the show, and then I guess we need to figure out what, you know, are we launching a brand coin, the Coffee with Captain coin, and we'll use those proceeds to of Zane's art to buy the coin and burn it. I don't know. One way or another, we need to find a way to get Zane to commit to doing a doodle a day, and then we can all retire off of Zane's back.
I think that's IP infringement by calling it a doodle a day.
I mean, doodle stole the word doodle. Go ahead.
I don't think they trademarked the word doodle. If not, I think we can fight that one. So anyway, so back to your question, Cap. I think the answer is maybe. I think there's two things that I think about, right? One of which I said in the War Room. I think one of which was said not by me in the War Room. So I think one is, are you selling to an audience who actually values it, right? So are you selling I think the really smart thing Rekt did is look at their first year. Crypto-centric partnerships, right? OpenSea and Jupiter and MoonPay, all of that. Like, they were selling drinks to a crypto audience and rewarding them in crypto. Product market fit. Really smart. I am less optimistic if a speculative asset like Rektcoin would work versus, and this is the part that was not said by me, but a stable coin. And the reason I say that is because if you look at where all of the motion is happening in the market today, it is not people saying, boy, MasterCard is lining up to launch their own brand coin. It's like, no, MasterCard is lining up to get into stables, right? Stripe is lining up to get into stables. And so that's where, if I think about where product market fit might be going more broadly, I don't think it's there today, but if I'm thinking about the next 4-ish years, then there could be something that says, hey, I'd have to think about tokenomics, and I'm not a tokenomics expert, so I'm not going to claim this is going to work, right? But could you do something where you are still rewarding on chain, you are still able to prop up a quote unquote brand coin, but it is now a stable coin, less sexy for all of us who love to, speculate and, get benefits that way, but could potentially have a similar effect as Rekt in terms of allowing a challenger brand to kind of rise up and punch above their weight.
Yeah, I think you're right. And it's like I sigh because you're right. I agree with you. I know Warp Joe had a similar take. That makes the most sense. It also is boring. It also takes the fun out of it. It also takes like how is that going to help the startup's marketing budget? Because the reality is they're going to, if it's a true stable, they want a $10 million marketing budget in their brand coin. Well, they're gonna have to back it with 10 million real dollars. So it takes away part of the ability to kickstart, to jumpstart your brand, your budget with this idea of a brand coin. It's just more of a loyalty reward mechanism. Like I think like long-term sustainability, if anything really escapes our Web3 bubble, that's most likely the way. I think these on-chain loyalty rewards programs, I still think that it's better on-chain than off-chain. Whether we're talking, incorporating NFTs or we're incorporating tokens, it's just at the end of the day, it probably makes a heck of a lot more sense for it to be a stable coin as opposed to an altcoin. It's just, it does take some of the fun out of it. And that speculative nature, the idea to essentially create your marketing budget out of thin air. Joey, go ahead and get back in here, and then we will. I am, by the way, for anyone that does want to get exclusive access to. Did you want to get in here before you got to go? Von Frunton? Nope, we lost him. Sorry, he did tag me. Said he Sun Frunton starting the first gig. That's exciting. Congrats, and got to get him there 5 minutes early. For anyone that wants exclusive access to Zane's Doodle of the Day until he agrees to mint them with us here, I did drop the OpenSea link in the chat to the official collection, and I'll pin it up top right now. No obligation. You actually can, if you want to invite into the Discord, the Coffee with Captain Discord, DM the Coffee with Captain account, and we'll get you an invite there. There is some gated chat rooms, one of which is the NFT War Room, and that is by far the main chat. So you can get in there. I personally need to do a better job of interacting in the counter and the sports bar. The non-gated, just you can get access with the invite. But if you want access to where Zane drops his exclusive doodles of the day, that is in the War Room, and you need a pass for that. Son employed more than the dad. That's a win. It's not a joke though, Zane. This is it's real. Now that you say that, I think I'm in the same boat. I'm the unemployed one in the family. Joey, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was listening to Von Frunton go through his thoughts and explain things, and one thing that made me think about is how we always talk about how launch an NFT, launch a brand coin, build your most loyal community members, and then they'll get behind you and they'll be your army and all that stuff like that, right? But that's fine and good, and it's what helped Rekt launch their business. Like we said, they had a $200 million marketing budget and all those things like that. But if you don't drag those people along with you when your success, now, sorry guys, when your business becomes successful, now, granted, they could have all sold the top, right? They could have sold all of their Rekt NFTs at the top. They could have sold all of their Rekt token at the top. Same with Pudgy Penguins. You could have sold all your Pangu at the top. You could have sold all your big pudgies at the top, all your little pudgies at the top. But if you didn't, because you believed that these companies were going to continue to bring you along because you were their earliest supporters, and now the token's going the wrong way, the NFTs are going the wrong way, you're not seeing that connection, you're not seeing that translate, does that not then, and I'm making assumptions, right? I'm just talking here. Does that then now not alienate all of those biggest, earliest supporters because that connection's not happening? You helped them get the funding, get the ability to do all of these things by buying the token, buying the NFTs, showing the support, trading, all these things like that. And now everything's gone the other way, but they've now have a multi-million, 8-9 figure business, and you're just holding your bag because you thought you were going to get to go along for the ride and it would somehow come back to you. And again, those are assumptions we make as holders in this space. There's no guarantee of any of it, right? But to say it was successful because they had a $200 million marketing budget to launch their own business, and all of us that held thinking we would get to come along for that ride now or not, seems pretty shitty.
Yeah, I hear you. Not to be cheesy, but we are still extremely early. If Rekt brands, if Rekt Drinks accomplishes what they're setting out to accomplish, we're in the top of the first inning. We got SpaceX going live for trading here in 8 minutes, 18 minutes, depending on where, if it's 9:50 or 10. And if it opens at what it's trading out on Hyperliquid right now, it'll be the 7th most valuable company in the world on IPO day. And this is a company that Elon gave a 10% chance of actually making it. It's been around for 20 years. It's like seemingly popping on the scene out of nowhere, but it's been 20 years. And a lot of that 20 years, it was like, this thing's not going to make it. So again, not to be cheesy, but we are early, and maybe there's a world where Rekt Drinks sells for $1 billion. They are the next Red Bull, the next Poppy, whatever drink brand you want to fill in there with massive success, and Rektcoin still goes to zero. It's possible. I can also see, though, if it does have that big of commercial success, I don't know. It's easy for me to see, like, oh, if it has that so much commercial success, the token is undervalued here at 24 million or whatever it is. I'm not saying go rush and buy it because of that, because again, we're talking in decades, not days or weeks. And
but that only matters if they find a way to connect them.
Yeah, but again, over the next 10 years, might they find a way to do that? What regulation could change? Who knows? Maybe it's nothing and it's just the short-term pump. But listen, though, we do have like 17 minutes before this goes live here on SpaceX Day. We got Joey on stage. We're going to do a Coffee with Captain claw pull here. One of you is going to pull the $50 claw machine, the silver claw machine today, and you could win a Plasma Blast Dialga. Am I saying that right, Phonics? Dialga, Joey? Dialga? How do you pronounce this thing?
I got to look and see.
It's a new one for me. Me and Stephen A. Smith, we're going to have
I'm self-admittedly not the best at also pronouncing these, and I get made fun of all the time.
Stephen A. Smith and me, we're gonna have a pronunciation off for Pokemon. Anyways, however you pronounce it, this Dialga, Plasma Blast. It's a Gem Mint 9. Current value is $1,127. You also have a $924 Charizard and an $899 Vaporeon to pull here.
Oh, that one I can help you with. That's a Vaporeon.
Vaporeon. Good to know. I'll put that in the memory bank. But yeah, one of you is walking away today with a big pull. If you haven't done a BZ Claw pull yet on Coffee with Captain, and you'd like to participate, hit me up in the comments. Preferably YouTube, or actually I'll hit them all. YouTube, X Video, or Abstract. I'll double check all of them. Just let me know you're here and that you would like to participate in Coffee with Captain, and you can hang out for the next 10 minutes or so and let me know whether you want to swap or keep it. And then we will, right on the other side of this market update, we are going to go right into Coffee with Captain, and then that should take us right into the watching this SpaceX IPO go live. So yeah, let us know in the chat if you want to participate in Coffee with Captain. If you've not yet done so, and you would like to pull the claw machine today, let us know in the chat. We will pick one of you out. And if I happen to say you were the finalist, I know Law of the Saw was one of the finalists. That's what it was. We were talking about Law made D's Nuts joke, but I don't remember what the joke was about. Oh, rhubarb. Was that it? If you guessed what rhubarb was, the jam or jelly, I don't know. It was something along those lines. I'll have to go back and listen to the tape. Just let me know if we said you were a finalist. Let me know. I'll believe you. I'll probably remember the individuals. Even if you weren't a finalist, you could still become a finalist today. Just you gotta comment in one of the chats, and we'll get to this claw machine, this claw pool here right on the other side of this break. This is the Daily Market Update.
Coffee brewing. Yeah, the market's in play, charts on the screen. What the numbers gonna say? We got offer in the cup every single day. Coffee with Captain, market update on the way.
Today, we're going to fly through this. We're looking at our, again, I'm shocked. I'm actually shocked. I was expecting a big red day today. I thought we'd see a lot more people. I thought we'd see crypto down as people rush to FOMO into the SpaceX IPO. Not that it's up, but it's green. It's a green day. Top 10 are, other than Tron's down 2.69%. Everything else is up. Everything else is green, not by a ton, but Bitcoin's up 0.21%, 63,138. ETH up 0.11%, 1656. BNB up 0.7, XRP up 1.36, Solana up 1.84 to $66. Tron, as I mentioned, down slightly. Hyperliquid, the big winner on the day, at least at the top 10. They're up 5.51%. They were up over 60 earlier, just below that now at 59.63. And like I said, pretty green day, at least flat to up, which you'd love to see. And heading over to NFTs, I'm not glazing him just because Steve's in the audience right now. This is a big deal. I know it's a free mint, 1.8 million, almost 1.9 million of these things minted. 426,000 unique owners. But you could only mint one per wallet. So literally almost 1.9 million wallets minted these things. I don't care if it's free or not. When it seems like we show up and there's like 400 active users in all of crypto, this tells me there's a heck of a lot more than that. I also, not that I'm prying or will really get this is I'm referring to the World Cups, the OpenSea World Cups. 3 mint. It was an open edition for just 24 hours. Almost 2 million mints in 24 hours. What I'd love to know, again, I'm not prying, I'm just genuinely curious, how many of these minters are someone who's more of a casual user, someone who maybe found OpenSea or just, created their OpenSea account or their OpenSea wallet in 2026? Are there actually, because I would be shocked. I'm shocked to learn that there's actually 1.8 million active, even though some of these might be multiple wallets or multiple accounts or multi-walleting, excuse me. Still far exceeded my expectation. If you said this is going to mint, there's going to be 180,000 minted, I'd be like, yeah, sounds about right. 1.8 million is a big number. So again, hats off to the OpenSea for leaning into cultural events, having some fun with it. Obviously, art, when time and effort went into creating the art and building the just the mechanics, in this case free mint, but having the 48 different designs. Pretty impressive. And I don't know if it's a signal or not, but I genuinely was shocked to see 1.8 million mints. It's a lot. And we keep talking about NFTs having a moment. NFT, and I do think NFT season 2, it is a lot of this stuff. It's a lot of free mints. It's a lot of fun stuff. I think to tie it all together to today's conversation, whether you're an NFT platform, an NFT marketplace, or you're a chain, you're a crypto native brand, how do you take these activations, these free mints, and turn that into a paying customer or a loyal customer? How do you take someone who comes in and mints something for free or buy something, get something for free for being there, for participating? They create, I think back to, we were talking yesterday about the Ape Fest activation at ComplexCon. And I thought it was great because they got tens of thousands of people to create a wallet. I saw it after we wrapped the show yesterday. Mike Campbell said, yeah, but I haven't seen any follow-up. There was one follow-up that I can remember, like the week or month after ComplexCon. You could go basically an on-chain raffle or go do a claim for a digital piece of art, and a handful of people ended up getting like a hoodie and some of the Grail real physical items there. I do agree, though. I think I expected to see more follow-up with that, with the newer wallets, like some email campaign. And maybe it's still coming. Maybe it's, we still don't know where Ape Fest 2026 is going to be. Maybe they run it back with Complex Cons in LA this year, and they use that email list to retarget some of those people who created those new wallets. But the overarching point being is, how do we go from an activation that gets someone to create a wallet, to take an on-chain activity, to then taking the next step? How do we go from top of the funnel to pulling these people through the funnel? Whether it's buying a toy, whether it's buying an energy drink and they can claim some rec coin, whether it's minting a free cup of the world. I do think that is the most likely driver of NFT season 2 is low cost to free mints. But then what? And I don't know the answer. I'm truly asking the question. Not that there's one singular answer, but I think this is where, if you're thinking about minting NFTs today, I do think you're doing it wrong if you try to sell a high price mint. There could be exceptions, but without real utility or some sort of access that's in demand by itself, I think for the most part, it's going to be these free to low cost mints. And then what? And I think that's the big question. Whoever can crack this nut, I think those are going to be the big winners this cycle. That said, back to the daily market update here. Punks 632.6, down 1% on the day. Apes up 0.5% to 8.94. Blue Pets, I believe this is another new mint, still pre-reveal. It's up to 0.18 on nearly 100 ETH of volume, 12,000 sales in the last day. Cyberlayer lockup NFT, that's one that's tied to some token allocation. Pudgy's up 2%. Meta Winners up 65% to 0.32. And this is not a new one. This one has been around since December of 2024. No idea what drove this pump, but it is up big. I'm guessing there was some sort of announcement, some sort of activation, because it's not just the pump. It's on 42 ETH of volume. Mutants flat on the day. Milady's up 3%. Hyper's basically flat. Non-playable character giving up some of their pump, but still 0.064, which is up big from mint. Pepe Explorer's down 10%. Normie's down 2%. The Glob's losing another pullback, now down another 16% to 0.0087. Good Vibes down 2%. So mixed bag on the NFT front, but like I said, I truly was expecting a really bloody day in crypto and NFTs, and knock on wood, trading hasn't went live yet, but any minute here, and we've not quite seen, we've not really seen a sell-off. So I'll take that as a W. I think flat, any risk on asset today that's flat on the biggest IPO of all time, with tremendous retail demand. I think if you're flat, you're up in my book. Oh, Mario said bots was also for Argonaut. But why are the bots buying those collections? Payne says, pretty easy to spin up multiple wallets with it. Oh, you're talking about the World Cup thing. It meant hundreds because it's free and gas is so cheap. Yeah, maybe, but like, I'm sure some do that. Yes, I'm sure that someone spun up a bot and they said mint 100 of these things. I'm sure. But at the same time, I don't think it was 1.8 million. Like, I bet a lot of, I'd love to know, not expecting to get the data, but I'd love to know how many people just, I still think there's probably a way with a little bit of, some on-chain detective work to find out which accounts are connected, how many of them did that, just spun up multiple wallets versus, I think a lot of people just went, like, I said I was going to mint multiple. I minted one. I said I was going to go into my other wallets and mint more. I just never got back to it, and the mint's over now. I do also plan to go collect a full set. Steve told me, he sent me a DM and said, yeah, any full set collectors, you get your C allocation is going to be double. You get 2x C allocation if you have a complete set. I kid, it's a joke. He did not say that. It's 10x actually. No, I'm kidding. It's a joke. Time for it's time for Coffee with Captain. You've got like 10 seconds left. You want to get on this? You got to let me know in the chat. Say yes, I want in. Claw me. Some reference to Coffee with Captain. We got Hunter Club says hook him up. He wants to vault it. We've got AO out there. We got Saucy Air going to ETH Global. If anyone else is at ETH Global, let us know. Joey, before I play the intro, go ahead, get in here, and then we will head right to Coffee with Captain.
Yeah, I'll be super quick. So thank you for pinning up top. Just want to hit on an exciting partnership that
pin this up
Beezy
top.
Was able to. Good.
No, I did pin it up top. Go ahead. You guys scrolling a little bit, but yeah, I pinned the Beezy post up there. Pretty big.
Yeah, I saw. Thank you. All the way to the left, up on the Jumbotron. Cap, pin the post. We're really excited about this. We have partnered with Lionsgate. For those that don't know who Lionsgate is behind John Wick. It's behind Saw. It's behind, oh man, I'm trying to think of some of the other major brands that are associated with Lionsgate. But Divergent was Lionsgate, Hunger Games. There's a lot. So we've partnered with Lionsgate, and we're helping introducing a digital experience, taking our claw machine and partnering with Lionsgate to create a digital experience for Lionsgate movie fans. Really excited about this. This is something that we've always wanted to do, like we've talked about since the beginning, is how do we provide use case beyond just what's, right now, which is like the Pokemon cards and sports cards. And this is just one example. We've pushed really hard to continue to grow outside of just the trading cards and sports cards. So there's more partnerships to come, but we're really excited about this one. Some people have asked me, like, what's in the claw? I honestly don't even know yet. It's still to be announced, but it's all going to be, from my understanding, it's going to be stuff associated with Lionsgate and their brands. So super exciting. Really excited that we were able to lock this one up, and more to come.
That is, it's awesome, man. Huge partner, huge collaboration. And just so I caught it all correctly, it's going to be a Lionsgate claw machine, and to be determined what's actually going to be in the claw machine.
Yeah, like some of the stuff that, like, when we were talking through this, the idea was like, telling them, like, think about it, like you can do like John Wick autographed merch.
Yep.
You could do tickets to a movie premiere, right? Like you could walk a red carpet. You could, right? Like there's all of these amazing things that you can put in here, right? Like maybe it's like for Hollywood, for people that don't know, like movie stuff is highly collectible, right? Like the hat that somebody wore, the suit, right, like all that stuff. So we explained it, like you could put anything you want in here, right? So they could be digital experiences, it could be in-person experiences, it could be collectibles, it could be all kinds of stuff inside this claw, and it's all connected to, associated with Lionsgate and their brands.
I love it, man. Very cool. I saw a clip on, I think it must have been my Instagram Reels, where it might have been the Vegas airport, somewhere in Vegas, where, I think when I was out there, I took a picture. We talked about they had a vending machine that was effectively in real life claw machine where you bought, and then but there was, BZ's far better because it's transparent odds. I had no idea, I might buy a $50 vending machine pull, and there's not even one single $50 item in the machine. It was blind. I saw one recently where it was autographed jerseys, and you could buy a $150 tier or a $300 tier, and you get some autographed jersey. This concept of gotcha, claw machines, vending machines, of pack rips, it's not going anywhere. People love the gamble. People love the opportunity to win something that they like, a value they win it for a fraction of what it actually is worth. They have a $10 pool and they win something that's $100. It's a $25 pool and they win something that's $250. Knowing that there also is a chance to get something less. Our society's gambling more, not less. And I think all that you just described made sense. Like people like collectibles. People like stuff from the John Wick set. Imagine something autographed from set. Like that's a real collectible. It's real. There's real value. There's people that are collecting. There's people buying these things at auction. And I think gotcha machines, obviously I'm not the first one saying this, it's become very popular. It's fueling a lot of BZ's growth. I think while we continue to see more and more of this sort of activity, more claw machines, more gotchas, I also think for most brands, not all, BZ's going to see more competitors, but I think for most brands, it makes a lot more sense to partner with someone like BZ who has the infrastructure. They have the tech already built. You've got an existing distribution base, right? It is I think these sort of relationships, these sort of, could Lionsgate launch their own machine? They could, but how much cost are they going to have in developing all that? And then they're also not picking up any new distribution. Whereas in this partnership, I think it's a win-win where BZ picks up the Lionsgate's fans. Lionsgate picks up the BZ fans, and there's a chance where, yeah, I enjoy those movies. I'm not collecting that stuff, but if I pull something from the John Wick set that's autographed by Keanu Reeves, I'm most likely just vaulting it. I'm most likely keeping it in my BZ account. I'm probably not selling the thing, but that's just me. I just like I didn't dump my rec coin. I'm much more of a collector, especially when I get something that's low to free cost, regardless of the value. I know, it's probably wise to sell most of that stuff, but I'm going to keep it. I'm going to collect it. And yeah, I think it's a great win-win scenario. And yeah, if you're in the market for those cups, if you miss the mint, you can collect all 48 for like, I saw 57 cents, but in all seriousness, you can collect all 48 cups for like less than $1. Although Payne identified the alpha. The alpha is Norway. This is going to be our Kabuto King. We're gonna control the floor on the Norway Cup. So anyone that wants to get the complete set, you're gonna have to come through the war room first. I kid, but maybe if you are buying a secondary, go buy Norway first before one of us ends up.
Did you see Norway's World Cup photo shoot?
Yeah, good. Well done. Well done.
How sick was that? All of them dressed up as Vikings in the Viking ship. That's got to be like one of the best sports photo shoots ever.
I think the social stuff happening from Freddie and all the accounts that are experiencing America to, this is, I think it was the Netherlands is in Kansas City and like already taking over the streets like that. I think to me, that's like as exciting as the games themselves, at least these early group stage games. But yeah, I was looking for the photo shoot. I'm not seeing it, but yeah, it was really, it was a great shot. Here it is. There's a couple. They had the one where they're actual Vikings, and then the next one is like very symmetrical. Like just well done. Like I don't know who's driving this for Norway, but yeah, well done. Well done. All right, here we go. It's time for Coffee with Captain. Don't go anywhere. On the other side of this, we're going to pick our winner. Especially don't go anywhere. Block Mage, you're up today, buddy. You are the Coffee with Captain weekly recipient of the silver claw pool here. So don't go anywhere. We'll do the pool right on the other side of this break, and then you're going to let us know whether you want to swap or you want to vault the card we pull for you. If you don't have a BZ account set up yet, click the QR code in the top corner of the screen. That'll take you to BZ with our ref code and get your BZ account set up. Especially you Block Mage, if you don't have an account, we need to get you an account set up so you can receive either the card or the swap amount. But this is Coffee with Captain, brought to you by BZ.
Coffee with Captain. Give that claw a spin. Roll grills from BZ. Prizes within. Mystery and magic. Where to begin? Coffee with Captain. It's your time to win.
All right. And we also now have some sweet background music courtesy of our guy Payne. Block Mage, good luck. Good luck. I hope you pull a grail. This plasma Dialga is yours. I can feel it. The last few pulls have been no grails. A $69, $26, $33. It's been a while. I got to scroll a while until we see a grail. There's one for $144. That just tells me you are due. Our guy Block Mage is going to win. Great community member, longtime friend of the show, and we're all rooting for Block Mage here. Good luck. Good luck. Hope you hit one of those rails. All right. $21, $31, 2020 Vivid Voltage Zarude. Look kind of like, I was gonna say kind of like Ja Rule, but not really. Za Rule. It's like Za Rule. It's a Zarude PSA 10. Block Mage, let us know in the chat if you want to keep and vault the Zarude PSA 10, or if you'd like to swap it after fees, you get $29.14. So let me know in the chat if you want the $29.14.
Yeah. If he wants to swap it, I'll send you $21, and he can do a second claw pull.
All right. So you can, he says PSA 10 he's holding. I'll pause for a second and see, since Joey sweetened the pot, if you want to hold the PSA 10, Zarud, we'll send that to you. If you want to run it back, we can do a, he'll take the second pull. I don't know if I have, my BZ wallet so let me swap then. I'm going to have to, give me a second. I just need,
DM me your BZ wallet address.
are you in front of a wallet so you can do it now?
Yeah, I'm right now.
All right. I'll DM you in the, in Discord. There you go. Oh, you know what? Well, yeah, since it's don't not a code, but send the whatever the $21.
I'm gonna send you the
Okay.
$21.
Because one thing we discovered is, oh no, so just as the FYI, we just started figured this last time. We did the swap here, so it's fine. But if someone wants to keep the item, I can't run back-to-back claw pulls because it's like basically like a cooldown until the swap time is expired. I can't apply another coupon code, but we're good. Send the $20. We'll refresh.
Wait, say that again?
Never mind. It's confusing. It doesn't matter. It's not.
Okay. All right, it's sent. You should have it.
I'm just complicating things here. My mouse is failing me.
If you refresh, you should see it in your wallet.
All right, Block Mage. The Grail is coming. Second time's a charm. Shout out to Joey for sweetening the pot and going back to back. This, once again, we've got a second Coffee with Captain Claw Porty here today because Joey is being super generous. Greatly appreciated. The BZ team as well as Joey. Good luck on all poll number 2. Block Mage. The Grail is coming your way. I can feel it this time. It's Friday free for all. SpaceX IPO day. It's going to hit a $1,200 call. Here we go. Hey, better flip. Good work. We went from 31 or 29 to 56. So this is a 2024 Japanese Wild Force Gouging Fire PSA 10. Pretty sweet name. The Gouging Fire, you can vault that sucker, or if you want the swap after fees, it's $52.64. Blockmage, let us know if you want to keep the card. I've become a fan, even though I can't read the stuff. I think I prefer the Japanese artwork. I prefer the Japanese cards over the English version of these Pokemons. No pressure. I'm not trying to persuade you into keeping it. Totally your call either way. He says, yes, keeping that. Congrats again. He also said, thanks very much, Joey. Blockmage, well-deserved. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the support of the show. Just DM me your either your BZ account, your BZ profile, or your EVM address, and we'll get that sent over to you as soon as we wrap up the show here. But big congrats and thank you again for all of the support on the show and in the chat. One of our beating that YouTube drum over there. By the way, not enough likes for as many comments in the chat. Everyone, make sure you hit that like today on the YouTube video. It does help us out a lot. You're very welcome. Thanks again. Really appreciate you and appreciate everyone in the chat. Hans, as always, the big Pingu tipper over there, and everyone who added to the show today. Greatly appreciate it. A fun week. We will, as I mentioned earlier, excited to share some, some details. New sponsorship campaign will be kicking off next week, and I'm looking right now for the SpaceX price. Trading should be live, but I'm not. Still, it's, at least everything I'm seeing, it's still at 135. It's still at the IPO price. I'm not seeing trading actually have went live yet. If I'm wrong, anyone has actually seen somewhere where trading is live, let me know. Drop a link. I'll wait for a few seconds. If not, we'll let y'all get out of here and you'll have to. Yeah, OX Lawyer said his order was only 40% filled for the IPO. That was the same I shared earlier. My friend group was Jay, that was it. The final, that was who the finalists were. Those who guessed the Menendez brothers. Thank you for the reminder. A little late today, but keep it in mind for the 3 or 4 of you that guessed Menendez brothers correctly. We'll run you back as finalists again for next Friday's claw pool. Mid 170s on hyperliquid and variational. Yeah, but that's still the not pre-market, but I'm looking for like as it actually went live on the NASDAQ. Is trading actually live for those that aren't on hyperliquid? Yeah, the 40% was the same. I had a buddy who requested 1,000 shares. He got 40 or 400, excuse me. So yeah, 40% as I've heard now a couple times. How long is your lockup period? I'm curious, Lawyer, if you don't mind sharing. Also, Norway, not quite the alpha we thought it was. There's actually 2 in the metadata. There's Norway at 33,000. There's Norway Nor at 5,600. So it got split for some reason. Feedback's been passed along, and they'll likely update that. Yeah, I'm refreshing. It doesn't appear that trading has went live yet, which is not surprising. They said, 10 o'clock was early. Most of them said like mid-morning, early afternoon. And then it seemed like this one might go off a little sooner just due to such an anticipated JK. That says the American hoodie was an honor I was working on for me, borrowed from the Bored Ape Club trait pool. Also seems human robot collection was not meant to be. The axe is just for murdering. So thank you for thinking of me. And so am I understanding this correctly, JK, that you were working on Honore for a new collection that ended up not minting? Am I connecting those dots? If you do mint that sucker, I would gladly throw it in the vault, and but no obligations. So yeah, he was working on a dev for human robot, and but seems it is not meant to be. So I'm not prying. I'm curious what changed. Why a no-go? You know what? This gave me an idea too. I know TCGs are all in the popular right now. They're mostly in terms of the collectibles behind it. And I know this isn't the first time someone said this. I know there's been some attempts at TCGs on chain, but I wonder if now might be the time. Like the Pokemon boom, One Piece, all these collectibles in platforms like Beezy is, Beezy, Courtyard, Collector, like all the cards, all of them are driving probably some of, if not the most, activity and volume in the NFT world. In this case, RWAs. I do wonder if now might be the time for a fully on-chain native TCG to take off. I know Parallels is still around, and there's some others. But I wonder if something like this, and I'm not saying Human Robots was meant to be a TCG, it could just been this one design, but got me thinking, I wonder if that could be, and yes, Achilles asked, so yes, this does exist and it's on me. I just need to finish our profile to get our thing on the schedule. But he asked, can they please synchronize and share any place a full list of Bored Ape related spaces, including Coffee with Captain, so we can add it to our calendars and no spaces overlap. There is one from the I think it's on the Ape Chain Hub profile. Let me find it. I will drop it in your comments. Yeah, othersideCalendar.apechain.com, and we are been invited to be on there. I think I put one on and created it manually. I just need to go back and update all of our shows. Yeah, but thanks for asking that. That's a good reminder for me to do the little work. over the weekend. Yeah, Smoking Jay, yeah, Menendez Brothers claw pulls. You're still a finalist. You didn't hit today, mainly because I forgot. But we will continue. Anyone who guessed Menendez Brothers, you got to remind me that you are one of the correct guessers, and I'll take your word for it. And you'll be a finalist for next Friday's claw pull. And then a reminder, everyone who got in the World Cup bracket challenge, you all are in the running for the July Coffee with Captain Community Member of the Month, the big $250 claw pull for that one. One last refresh. Wonders of the First is Web3. Wonders of the First is a Web3 TCG. First time hearing that, but I will check it out. Thanks for sharing, Brick It All. Yeah, not seeing any trading live yet on SpaceX. So as far as NASDAQ, it doesn't appear to be fully live yet, but good luck. Good luck, however you're playing it today. If you got in the IPO, I hope the thing cooks for you. If you are watching this on the sidelines, I hope you make wise decisions today with how you might trade. And I did something to freeze my video. No idea what it is, but that might be my sign to stop talking. Get you. You know, it probably is checking some of these tickers, and one of those browsers is being a memory hog. So my apologies for watching the video, and I got stuck on a funny space. Elon did ring the opening bell today as SpaceX officially began trading. Again, that ticker is SPCX. If you're going to be buying SpaceX today, make sure you buy the right one. There was another ticker has pumped that is not SpaceX, but the ticker is similar, and people mistaked it for SpaceX. Also, reminder to get your if you want to get continue the World Cup celebration. Those kits, I think you're still live. If you want to get those in other side, you can mint it for $2 and ApeCoin. And it looks like SpaceX IPO is a 4.3% float. Early investor shares are locked up for a year. Typical IPOs have a float of anywhere between 15 to 20%. Investor minimum was reduced from 500,000 down to 2K to get every man and his dog in. Yeah, I even though I'm watching this from the sidelines today, I truly am excited to see how things play out. I am very curious, and again, shocked that we haven't seen more of a sell-off in crypto. I thought it was going to be a bloody day, and so far, knock on wood, it's not been the case. All that being said, great week this week. Really appreciate you all. We'll be back Monday, as always. We go live every Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern time. And touch some grass this weekend. Have some fun. Be safe in the trading streets. Know that it's likely to be volatile based on not just SpaceX, but also the volatility that continues in the Middle East and macro at large. But have some fun out there. Enjoy your weekend, and I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day, everyone.